Hello everyone, welcome to the latest episode in WIF Vichaar. My name is Devyani Patiwana and I'm a Talks team member in Warwick India Forum. Today we have the honor of hosting Mr. Ajit Veerappan with us here today. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thank you. Hope you guys are safe and everything is good wherever you guys are.
Yeah, I hope that everything is going well during the coronavirus situation. So we would like to give our viewers some background about you before we
Sure.
start the interview. Mr. Veerappan, you are the founder of ABI Health, a healthcare company startup that offers smart solutions for reporting, revenue control, and optimization for hospitals. You are also the managing director for this inspiring company. You also graduated from the University of Warwick, and this is with a business degree, in addition to having an engineering bachelor's from Bangalore. So clearly, you are a very seasoned entrepreneur. So should we start right off with the first question?
Sure. Yeah, it's always an honor for me to talk to you guys in Warwick. It's, I think, been 3 years of association with y'all and the Warwick India Forum. You guys are doing great. And yeah, looking forward. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So starting right off, was entrepreneurship and founding ABI Health something that you stumbled upon, or did you have a concrete plan in place? How did you create the foundation of your business?
Sure. So to be honest, right? So once I finished my degree in Warwick, yeah, I had a job in Deloitte, and I think there was another startup in India, which is now a unicorn. And I didn't pick any of that. I decided that I got to come back to India and do something by myself. And yeah, that kind of motivated me because I was already sending projects back from the UK to India and, getting software developed here. So I was kind of confident that I could do something by myself. Software has always been my passion. And that's how it started. And I didn't know about recession. I didn't know about anything. Just got back to India and I had a project in the US. And as soon as we started the company, 6 months down the line, we lost the project. Okay. So it was kind of tough back then. It was more like, a race from 1st to 30 or 31st of every month to take care, and then learned a lot, right? And then, started bringing in focus, and we started doing a lot of healthcare system integration work. We went on to clinch large deals, got big breaks, and ABI Health happened in 2016. So the services company or the system integration company is still existing. I have people running that, but ABI Health is the product company. And this was not something that I definitely started without having a plan in place. I did have a plan in place. We saw a large gap for a health IT or a healthcare SaaS platform in India. We've seen large healthcare ID companies in the US, and there wasn't anything much outside of the US. So my passion was to build something and to prove that SaaS as a concept in India would work, and healthcare IT outside of the US, you can create big companies. So yeah, so that's the kind of thing that motivated me to start building up ABI Health. And I was lucky enough to get a great team, good bunch of senior leadership guys. And today we work with almost all top hospitals and labs in India as well as Southeast Asia.
That's very impressive. Yes, so entrepreneurship is clearly a very diverse field with lots of risks that everyone has to take in it. So what sort of challenges did you overcome to reach where you are today on this level?
Yeah, you're right. So, entrepreneurship is definitely not for the weak-hearted, I would say, right? Because, see the situation today, there are so many businesses struggling, and, you need to figure out, you need to be really wise in terms of how you're going to use money. And so it's an art in itself, and, the risk-taking ability varies from individual to individual, right? So I was reading, there's a popular quote which I read recently that, risk is like the down payment to success. And I totally agree to that fact, because, how large the risk is and how calculated it is, it's only then you would actually start, seeing fruit in whatever you've been doing. So I think, there are plenty of risks that you need to take as an entrepreneur. And you would face many such situations, right? So, back then, I remember, once I got out of Warwick, and then there was a recession, during the 2008-9 phase, and we learned a lot. We learned a lot of lessons. I remember I had like $5 in my pocket, and I had to take care of all the employees back then, and so it's kind of maybe a little more mature as an entrepreneur. And today, seeing the situation at this point of time, we're going to see how it is for the next 1 or 2 years. We are very well prepared. So, I think the important thing is how persistent you are, how resilient you are, and how confident you are in terms of, making sure that your passion, your belief is taken to the point that you want to take it to. So, yeah, there have been plenty of challenges. You have challenges with people, you have challenges with vendors, you have challenges with investors, there are multiple areas, your customers, your, whatnot, right? So, you just need to make sure that you are there all the time. And as an entrepreneur, a CEO, or a managing director, right? For these guys, they are in a hot seat, right? So they are the ones, they get fired from everywhere, and they need to make sure that they take the right things and right calls. And if they are persistent, and they do believe in their idea, they put in all the hard work, then they would see success at some point of time. So yeah, it's a tough thing, and you definitely need to be strong.
That's true. Is entrepreneurship, according to you, a born gift or a skill that you had to develop? And do you feel that it is necessary to have a business degree in specifics in order to get an advantage in the field?
Okay, sure. So, see, the different kinds of entrepreneurs, right? So, the people, that I see these days, let me just do a startup, and let's see what happens, right? Without a clear plan in place. We're seeing so many entrepreneurs come out these days. But my, advice would be that they need to do enough market research, product research, and they should, be sure of what they're doing. And if they have backing, great for them to, move forward. So, people with business backgrounds, it kind of gives them that backing, if it's a family business, or it's something that's always going to help them to get that one step forward and move. But so they they have different challenges. They need to ensure that they keep up the name of their family. And fresh entrepreneurs, it's more like do or die situation. If they fail, they fail, and if they succeed, it's great, right? So yeah, so like what I would think is that whether it's a born gift, you see a lot of families discussing business in the dining table. A lot of traditional Indian businesses or traditional foreign businesses, and you have kids getting into business very early in life. For me, that wasn't the case. My dad did do business, and he was an entrepreneur himself, and that was for the last 15 years or so. So my growing up age was more of seeing my dad, working for a corporate, right? So for me, I think it's more about, you either get the, business skill set as, as a born gift, or you can harness your skill set, right? So it was more about, how I harnessed it and, learned. You need to have the right mentors. I think that is very important. People who've been there, done that, and you need to take the right inputs. But finally, you are the one who's going to make calls. So, if you ask me, I think you can look at it in two ways. If it's a born gift, it's great. You can execute well. But end of the day, hard work is key. Whatever it is, I've seen successful businessmen. It's discipline, process, hard work that gets you there. No matter whether it's in your genes or you kind of harness that skill set. Hard work is what matters end of the day. And in terms of how a business degree is going to help you with your entrepreneurship, it definitely is a tool, right? So you have something the back of you that you can always go and project, be it you're meeting an investor, you're talking to a customer, you're networking, right? That in itself is great. On top of that, it actually helps you to get deep, be thorough in what you're doing, and also be detailed enough, right? And you're analyzing, right? So you learn a lot of skills. You learn people management, you learn how to convince customers, you learn strategy, you learn finance. People come with different backgrounds before their business degree. So say, I wouldn't have a finance background uh, as I was an engineer, right? So, came in and got business finance background, right? We also understand how to actually, dive deep in terms of strategy, what kind of decisions you need to make, how you bring in focus and so on. But then end of the day, it's you, you're on the field, you're right out there, and you need to execute. So you can use all the tools. It does help you, but finally it's you.
Sorry, lots of traffic. Um, yeah. So, what, according to you, are the transferable skills that are essential for being an entrepreneur in healthcare specifically? Is it different from the other fields?
Sure. Yeah, I think healthcare has taught me a lot, right, in terms of transferable skills. See, one thing for certain is that, any healthcare application, right, is mission critical, right?
Yeah.
Because end of the day, you're working with people's lives. So say, we're pretty big in diagnostics, software in India, and also say claim software. So end of the day, we can't get things wrong. Okay, so if it's mission critical, you need to get things right at right there, right time. So on the engineering perspective, you have to. We've learned, various ways of troubleshooting, handling situations, and ensuring that there is process and things happen right. So these are mission critical applications. So I don't think it can get bigger than this. So you can't go wrong. Okay, because it's
Yeah.
people's lives, you can't go wrong. So I think that is a skill set that's going to stay with me, no matter what. And that will also help in terms of building process, in ensuring that your systems are foolproof, and you deliver always the best to the client. So that's engineering. Then
Yeah.
in terms of product, right, I think when you build a product, it's clinicians or physicians, doctors, they aren't that tech savvy, right? So maybe the younger generation, yes, they are, but to get it right so that they kind of adopt to technology, it's very important you get your product right. Many companies have done that and haven't been successful. So there's a lot of trial and error, but it also helps you to enhance your product skills in terms of how you're going to bring in technology to people who really don't enjoy technology. It's not their fault. They'd love to have more eye time with their patients, but you'll have to ensure that you capture that, as well as make them understand why technology is important, how it helps in better clinical outcomes and their decision making. And in terms of sales, I think product and sales kind of correlated, right? So I think selling to healthcare, talk to any investor today, it's the toughest thing to do. So if you can sell in healthcare to healthcare enterprise, you can sell to anyone else. So I think the whole skill set in terms of improving your sales cycle, improving the way you sell your scripts, all of that is something. These are amazing skills that you would possibly not get anywhere else. So yeah.
Well, I certainly agree that healthcare is a area of life where you have to take a lot of care about your decisions. Um, so, like you said, it's everything is constantly improving, changing, and the playing field of entrepreneurship is also ever changing. So, what do you think is the key to staying afloat in today's modern world?
Right. So I think, one thing is that technology changes almost every 3 years now.
Yeah.
Before this, it was like way more than what it was. So,
Mm-hmm.
say back in the day when I was in university, say a decade ago, right? So there was no mobile. We still used to use a lot of desktop and stuff. Today, everything is accessible on mobile. So there's 5G that's coming up and everything is quick, right? So then from mobile, you move to cloud. So today, cloud is something that is used in every application. It's scalable. It helps in performance. It helps in storing things at the right place. So to be honest, it's great actually to live in the cloud, right? So because most of your documents are in the cloud, and you can always access it. This wasn't the case a few years back. So last 15 years, the whole tech wave has been crazy, right? So the first tech wave was the dot-com wave. Then there was the mobile revolution, and now we've got frontier tech for your AI and RPA, blockchain, all these technologies where things are just going to get more and more intelligent. So building sustainable businesses is key, right? So you'd see a lot of businesses today, a lot of startups today, exiting in 2 years, in 3 years. And some of them, I'm not too sure if they could have sustained. So, they look at an acquisition target. But I think what is important is how you can build sustainable businesses. So that's the challenge, right? So, a lot of people call companies like Infosys or Wipro or TCS and say, you know what, these are body shops, right? But I wouldn't agree to that statement, because at the end of the day, they are businesses built a lot of value, and selling to an enterprise is not that easy, right? So large enterprises, they've built great companies and sustainable companies, right? So no matter what kind of business they're doing, it's a business. End of the day, there is technology, and they've done that right. At that point in time, they've done it right. So I think today the challenge is, how are you going to build sustainable businesses with, say, more IP, more product backing, and so on. So India, for example, has always had a kind of a service mindset, whereas innovation products always been there with them, but they've never actually come forward. But you're seeing that change today, right? But like I said, Infosys, Wipro, there were one era before, and they've built great sustainable businesses. Can you do the same thing now? You do have companies like that, but I think that's the biggest challenge. And for that, you need to keep innovating. You need to keep investing. So you just can't keep looking at your bottom line numbers or profits, right? You need to invest in the right space so that you can keep scaling up, growing, and you need to understand the market really well. Both organic and inorganic growth is very critical to do that. So I think the world is changing, right? And you need to keep innovating, and the key is how are you going to build sustainable business. So it's a process, right? So you need to keep firing and make sure that you fire every day. And at some point of time, you need to be really sure, okay, I've done great for myself, so what next, right? So at that point of time, people can look at exits. You build great businesses, and then you can think of exits. So I think sustainability is going to be key in the next few years. So how you bring in technology to help sustainability of your own company.
That's very interesting to hear. Lastly, so the final question, what is your opinion about imbibing entrepreneurial skills into day-to-day life? Is it something that everyone should constantly try to improve on?
Oh, absolutely. I think, it's taught me a lot, definitely. And I'm sure that, it's taught a lot of entrepreneurs a lot. So to be honest, right, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is in terms of patience, right? So patience is definitely a virtue, right? So you can't buy that anywhere. So it's more about, how you are patient in terms of taking decisions, right? You do take decisions. End of the day, you got to take decisions, but you're patient. You're better listener at the end of the day. When I came back, started, I don't think I was such a good listener. Today, I actually think about it and take decisions, right? And more importantly, I think you start seeing from the other's perspective, because you see people almost every day, right? You see different people almost every day, and the way you handle people, that same thing is what you actually have to do with the other parts of your life. So I think how you handle people, you always think from the other person's perspective as an entrepreneur, right? You don't think from your side. So I think that's fantastic, because you don't only look at say a taking attitude, you look at a giving attitude, right? If you ask me today, I think giving is really important. Even at some point in time, say you'll always have to give back to the society for what it has given to you, right? So what I've started doing that religiously, and I've seen that making money, being successful is satisfaction, but then giving back is more relief. So as an entrepreneur, you actually start getting into the minds of others, understanding what they want, and see how you can empathize and help them out. So yeah, patience, empathy, resilience, right? So I think you got tough times, right? That keeps coming. Like you got COVID, you got recessions, you got different issues that keep propping up. So I think resilience, persistence, fearlessness, these are all qualities that you can use, which makes you really mentally strong, right? So you never give up. Say you've got a health condition too, you need to be really mentally strong, right? You don't have to give up. So I think those things that that you would learn as an entrepreneur, because different people have different kind of risks. You grow larger, you'll have more problems, right? So you'll have to figure out how to handle all of that. So you got to handle stress if you want to handle success, right? So I think resilience is very key, and also in terms of risk taking, right? So I think anything, right? Be it anything that you do in life, you want to invest in property, you want to do certain things. I think this gives you in a way a tool to ensure that you can take the right risks and you calculate what you're doing. So it helps a lot in day-to-day life too. Yeah.
Well, that was a very important message. I believe that being entrepreneurial in real life situations is very useful. Also, your people skills change a lot. So I completely agree with you. So I guess this is the end of the interview. It was a pleasure to have you here on WIF with us. It was definitely a very knowledgeable interview. Hopefully this will inspire students to enter the field of entrepreneurship. So thank you for being here.
Sure. Good luck. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye.